actor. Okay, ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, now, Nepomniachtchi wants to play the Grunfeld, which is d5 next move. So he played f3, never play f3, because Ding wants to get this big center, but not allow knight takes c3. Which, that's possible. And super GMs look for weird ways to play against this, because this move is so weird. If you play like a normal person, d6, bishop g7, castles, you just get a same-ish King's Indian, except white has a few more options, which you'll see in the game. So he played a Benoni, and bishop d3 is a novelty. Now, it makes sense not to go here, because when these pawns are traded, you want to put your knight on c4. This knight has a much easier time to getting to c4 than this one. This one can never get to c4. This one, frankly, is simple. So knight here is unusual, and you only play it after knight bd7, so the bishop can't take. Then you go to f2. But you can also play knight here, then this knight can go to c4 later, which I do in an f3 Benko. But he doesn't want to block his bishop, so he played bishop d3, novelty. Okay. And Nepomniachtchi decided, you didn't develop these pieces, and your king is here, so I'm going to crush you. And he does. He plays a6, a4, knight h5, bishop d4, knight e5, queen h4. God damn. Okay, and it's about equal, right? So white has the monster center, so black has to succeed with his attack, otherwise white's better. And the engine analyzes a million moves and says it's equal, because it's the engine. Okay, so he played knight takes d4, and Jan has three choices here, and he chose a bad one. After the next move, it's possible he's losing. The engine says c takes d4 is equal. Now this position is difficult for the engine too. For example, if you play the move that all of you would play, knight g3 check, yay, it's a train. Always play bishop f1. Now this position is hard to evaluate. White has an exchange down. White has an extra pawn for the exchange. White has the two bishops. White has the dark squares. And white has the big center. Thanks, Charlotte Chess Center, for 5 subs. Go, Peter. 300 centidues. Oh, yeah, the Poseidon Adventure, Gene Hackman was great. Remember he played the priest? Mm-hmm. Or whatever, the reverend, whatever. He was great. I forgot how great he was in that.
Hey,
yeah,
Peter.
He was great and Unforgiven, except he got his ass kicked.
How's it going?
God damn. Lunkus subscribe. Thanks, Lunkus. You're the best. Gene Hackman, underrated actor. Now, as you all know, they don't know. Gene Hackman, before they were famous, he was roommates with Dustin Hoffman and a third guy. There's a third super famous actor. They were roommates. Then they all became the most famous people who ever lived.
Who's the third?
I don't know who the third guy is. Somebody tell me who the third guy was.
De Niro,
I don't think it's De Niro. You know what I think it is? I think it's from To Kill a Mockingbird. I think it's Robert Duvall. But it could be I'm making that up. So let me see what they say. It's Charlotte Chess Center.
Hey, Charlotte Chess Center.
No, Cusack, you're banned. You're children's children. Yeah, Duvall's great. Keanu Reeves, Al Gore. What's the worst answer? Keanu Reeves or Al Gore? Damn, harsh. Charles a good answer.
Yeah, I didn't like Duvall as Boo Radley.
Yay, go Robert Duvall. Introducing Robert Duvall. It was Duvall. Damn, I was right.
Oh.
Robert Duvall is so good in The Godfather. And in the third Godfather, he wanted to get paid. And they said no. He said, I want the same money as Al Pacino. And they said no. So he wasn't in the third Godfather. Yeah, Robert Duvall is great. He's the greatest. 200 centidues. Thanks, Fen Beingold. The more you donate, the more I tell you my favorite actors and actresses. Yeah. Christopher Walken's great. Yeah, Robert Duvall's... Can you imagine that? Roommates, Dustin Hoffman, Robert Duvall, and Gene Hackman, and they're not famous yet? Ridiculous. Okay, true story, then I'll get back to the game. True story. Nobody's going to believe it. Unless you're older than me, then you might. 1972, there was coverage on PBS of the Fischer-Spassky match. for $1 trillion, Karen. Who did the coverage? You've never heard of him, so it's hard.
Oh, well then, okay.
Let's see if somebody in the chat knows. Hackman was Lex Luthor. Although Hackman was also in the Waka Flocka Flame song, Lex Luthor. Okay, so that's correct. Shelby Lyman. There was a party in 1972, a New York party, and Shelby Lyman was there, and Dustin Hoffman was there, and they were introduced. When they were introduced, Shelby Lyman never heard of Dustin Hoffman, and Dustin Hoffman had heard of Shelby Lyman. Frankly, ridiculous, but true. Yeah. Bob Costas. Boo. Okay. Now, to me, this looks like I'd rather have white because I like sacking the exchange. I like the two bishops, but the engine really likes white. Sort of like, Ron Howard really liked Potsy. He's like, Mom and Dad, I like Potsy. Yeah, Potsy's good. No, Dad, I really like Potsy. Yeah, you have a homosexual attraction to Potsy. I think it's from Simpsons, but it could be Family Guy. Okay, so both players correctly evaluated this as much better for white because he's got all the dark squares, F4 is the threat, truth hurts. Okay, so that didn't happen. And instead of playing C takes D4, which the engine says leads to equality, because then black can start attacking more kind of normal Benoni ways. He played knight takes D3, which also wins the exchange, except it doesn't. Let's not die on level 4. Come on, we need 2 or 3 subs. Boo, boo.
Hey, Man Moth.
Yeah. Who is Shelby Lyman? Exactly. Yeah. Come on, people. Join in. Join the hype train. Come on, Peter already helped. Nobody? Bueller? Okay. So he played knight takes bishop, which is frankly terrible. And obviously, it's anti the position. Karen, what's better, this knight or this bishop?
Well, the knight seems better.
Correct.
The bishop's
Fennicus Moses gifted a sub, Thaddeus gifted a sub, and the train died. Boo, boo. Such strong support. McGrubler, 13 subs, 1,000 bits, Papa John's. Okay, yeah, so taking that doesn't make strategical sense, but he thought it was good tactically, because he thought he could now play knight g3, then take, and you can't always play bishop f1. And if you play queen f1, and I take the knight, you don't have the compensation. You don't have the 2 bishops, you haven't won this pawn yet, and maybe you won't. The problem is, white has a brilliant move here that very few people would consider. Except Ding played awesome this game. And after the game, this is true. I know it sounds silly. After the game, since Ding won 3 games in a row, which he did, he said, ding, ding, ding. That happened. And then they asked Nepomniachtchi in the press conference, what did you think of that game? And he said, dang. That all happened. Yep, Vaganyan was top 10 in the world, and now he's no good. That is correct. Yep. Stealing my jokes, that's my joke. Okay, so he played knight c2, taking a page out of MVL's book, Always Retreat. Now you can't take the knight, you agree. And how do you save your knight? How? Okay, I'm not asking you, I was talking to Wang Hao. Okay, so knight h2 is forced, if you want to save your knight. But now it's trapped. Okay, and if it was trapped behind enemy lines, then it would be Von trapped. Did you like that joke? Or did you think it was Nazi good? Okay, so he played queen e3 exclam, defending all these key dark squares, and he wants to move his queen here to trade queens and win the knight. Now, if you're a cheating engine, if you are, that means using an engine to cheat. One of the engine moves I found on my supercomputers, are you ready? G5, confusing the audience. Stopping queen f4. It also stops queen g5 because the g6 pawn isn't here. Now you can trade queens, play knight f3 check, and rook g8, and black's winning. Unbelievable, frankly. So g5 is one of the engine's moves. Still likes white after e5 or knight d2. Because, the knight's still trapped. Okay, I don't think Jan looked at g5 because that's insane. Okay, he castled. Queen g5. And he wants to do a Desperado because he likes which group?
The Eagles.
The Eagles. Okay. And he sacrifices his knight for the pawn instead of losing it for nothing. Now, in your opinion, who wants to trade queens here, white or black? And also, there's no answer. But what's your opinion?
Let's see. Well, I guess black wants to.
No, white wants to, because white did that. That's how you know. White's like trade queens. Now, it's very close who wants to trade queens.
Oh, yeah.
But the reason the white wants to trade queens is this is no good. So with queens on the board, that's not good. This king has lost some of its shelter, right? So what would the Rolling Stones ask for?
I know there's give me shelter.
Give me shelter, yeah. Right. So he played queen h3, putting in an h. He's trying to attack the king. He could play f5 or try to get his bishop in there or take this pawn. Now, this is amazing to me. To me, it's amazing. White played the best move here by a lot, and it just gives this pawn away for nothing. So I don't know if I'd consider this move, but this is no good. That's no good. So Ding played bishop f4 and knight d2. Now it's pretty good. Okay, now the queen's almost trapped. If you move your queen to the queen side and try to save your queen, you got to watch out for queen f6, bishop h6. Also, your d pawn's hanging. Your queen can get harassed. Strangely, black played the best move. That's not the strange part. Strange part is never play it. So what did black play, sweetie? Never play it.
F6.
Yep, that's the engine move.
Yeah.
Okay, now if you play knight takes, pawn takes, we got a little skewer action. So he played queen g6, the only move Karen thought of. Desperado, that's a Desperado. Okay, now, as I said in the video that I made for chess.com a couple days ago, also yesterday, the video seems so far away. I woke up here, got out of bed, dragged the comb across my head. Yeah. Anyway, I woke up here and I was like, I like white, but maybe it's complicated and black's okay. No, the engine says black resigns. Okay, the reason is this is the weakest pawn ever. If this pawn falls, and all the dominoes fall like a house of cards. Checkmate. Futurama. And you might be like, well, so what? I'll defend it. But then the knight comes to c4. This knight comes to c4. You can't do it. When you lose this pawn, you lose this pawn. This is a passed pawn. The bishop has no active square that makes any sense. So white's just completely winning. Okay, Nepomniachtchi tried, but he failed miserably. The lesson is never try. Attack the knight, forcing the knight to the good c4 square. And Jan said, nope, you can't go to the c4 square. And then he keeps gaining a tempo. Knight e1, excellent move. And the bishop is trapped. Now, the only way not to lose your bishop is to play an explosive move.
C4.
Right. Now, watch this computer line, which isn't good, but you'll see how computers think. F5. Now, if you take, which is the best move, takes. Man, that's a lot of hanging chads, right? Okay, and if you take this, C4 now, and so forth. Now, this is all winning for white, but that's a cool line. You just play king e3 and take this. Okay, but it's cool that you can play for tricks. Jan played C4, and now it's obvious to anyone with an advanced degree in hyperbolic topology that white's winning. This pawn's going to fall. This pawn's going to queen. This rook hasn't moved yet. It's the wrap it up button. Wrap that gavel up. Okay, so the game ended. I'm going to show you the very end because it was really cool. Okay, threatening d7, so he blocked it. Knight c4, threatening this. Always sack the exchange. Okay, so this wins. There's no doubt about it. But this wins more. Professional athletes always won and more. Okay, if you take the knight, you're in check. If you take the knight, then rook d8. As in the famous game, gotcha, bitch. Right? Okay. And Ding is always saying that joke. I told him to stop. Ding's always like, gotcha, bitch, because he keeps winning. Jesus Christ. Come on, Ding. Okay.
Hey, born and eyes.
Now, you could also move the king and not take the knight and take the pawn on c7. So king d8 or king c6. Okay, then take on c7. This is why he played knight b6 check instead of taking the rook right away. Now he has check and takes the pawn, defending his pawn. And then if the rook attacks the knight, rook f3 wins. If rook f8, e5, and rook f3 wins. And we're up a piece for no pawns. So that was a nice little wrinkle, knight b6 check, because it wins this pawn and defends this one. So that's pretty nice. So after knight b6 check, black resigned. Frankly, terrible. I thought all the games would be quick draws, or at least 3 of them. And instead, none of them were quick draws, and 3 of them were decisive, and Alexienko beat Geary with black. So, man, it shows you what I know. Nothing. Yeah. Etc. All right, thanks for watching. Karen might go to karaoke. You can bet on it.
I'm not going to go.
Yeah, but she still might go, even when she's not going.
No, because I can't really sing. I'm tired.
And we'll be in North Carolina tomorrow. Peter knows why. Peter doesn't know why, but he can figure it out. Yeah. And then I'll be folding like Superman on laundry day.